Hi, this is Joel Johnson. Before we talk about retirement income strategies, make sure you subscribe to this channel and also click on that little bell icon because that will ensure that you get notifications every time I upload new information and new videos to this channel. What are we talking about today? We're talking about retirement income strategy. Don't just get into retirement and just not really think it through and just start taking money out of your retirement income, whether it's triggering pension, Social Security, whether it's taking 401k money or a stock account or a mutual fund account. You've got to think this through. By having a strategy, you could not only make your money last longer, you could save money in taxes, you could de-risk your portfolio to make sure you don't have that emotional need to make mistakes. It just makes sense to have some type of retirement income strategy. And so today in the video, I'm going to help you think this through, and then I'm going to give you a solution that we can provide for you that is one option you have to make sure you come up with a retirement income strategy. So kind of a two-part little video here today. So it's our responsibility to take care of our retirement. You know, it used to be that when my grandfather was working, he had Social Security, he had a pension, okay, and he didn't quite have a 401k, right? But he could have Social Security, pension, and his personal savings, all right? So this stool, let's just say that this is a pension over here, this leg, and this is Social Security, and this is savings, okay? And so my grandfather, he kind of had this three-legged stool, all right? He had a pension he was building up at a company. He worked for the same company in Minneapolis, a food company. And he worked there for, I think, 40 years. So he built up a nice pension. He had his Social Security. And when he retired, Grandpa Pete, that's what his name was, and Grandma Hulda, they were able to live on their pension and their Social Security. They didn't have to spend any money on their savings. When he passed away, somehow, probably only earning ever in his lifetime about $25,000 a year at the most, had saved $800,000, and he didn't have to touch that because he had his pension and he had his Social Security. Well, what's happened now? In today's world, for most of us, that pension is gone. And now our little three-legged stool here that I drew, yes, I know I'm not much of an artist, but our little three-legged stool has one leg gone, which means it's not stable, it's going to topple over because we don't have that pension. You've got to save more, all right? You've got to replace that pension stool with 401k or 403b or some other type of savings. So your responsibility for your retirement has doubled. Some of you, if you're a school teacher in certain states, you don't even get Social Security because you're subject to the windfall provision. So you have a pension, but you don't have Social Security. So either way, for most of you, you've lost one of these legs of the stool. So it is your responsibility to save for your own retirement. Now let's say you save for your own retirement, you get to retirement, but now you have to come up with a withdrawal strategy. And unfortunately, most people don't come up with a withdrawal strategy. They don't come up with an income strategy. They just go headlong into retirement without thinking it through, and they just take money out of their accounts. You could be shortchanging yourself. You could run out of money before you pass away. You could end up having to cut your income. You could end up paying way more in taxes than you need to. So we've got to have this income strategy in our retirement. And here are the things we've got to think through. First of all, we've got to think through inflation. In my office, when we do an income plan, a retirement income plan, or let's call it a financial plan, we count on having to give our clients raises of 3% every single year. We count on inflation running at 3%. I know it's run less than that over the last 20 years, but there are times in our country when it's run much more than that, and certainly right now it's running higher than 3%. But a long-term average over a 25, 30-year retirement, I think 3% is a pretty good projection. But what does that mean? That means you can't just plan on having, let's say, a $10,000 a month income when you retire and maintaining that $10,000 all throughout. You have to come up with a strategy so that you can give yourself raises to combat inflation. Inflation is a really, really big deal. I remember we used to do these workshops, this goes back about 10 or 15 years, but we used to show a stamp from 30 years before and a stamp today. Now I know hardly any of us use postage stamps anymore, but back then I would show a stamp where I think it was from 1979 and a stamp from 2009, which would have been 30 years, and the stamp from 79 was something like 17 cents, and from 2009 it was 45 cents, or give you an example there, but it had tripled. And so what we'd ask people is, how are you going to triple your income in retirement? And with healthcare right now, the way it is, you may have to triple your income in retirement. So you've got to factor in inflation. That needs to be part of your strategy. Healthcare costs. My goodness, healthcare keeps going up and up and up. Prescription medicine. My mom, I was shocked. I did not know this. She's paying about $400 a month for one of her medications, and she has insurance, and she's still paying $400 a month. It's unbelievable. And so you've got to have, and because she has to take a certain type. There are other medications that do what that one does, but she has reactions to it. So you've got to have some money set aside for health care, either a reserve account or you've got to count on extra retirement income. It might blow up your ability to have this income that you want consistently for the rest of your life because you might run out of money or have to reduce your income at some point in time. So we've got to count on health care. What about Social Security and pensions? If you go to the grocery store and pick up any of the financial magazines there, you just Google, when should I take Social Security? Most of the advice will tell you wait as long as possible. That's not a strategy. That's a default. That's listening to somebody many times that has less money than you've saved, and you're just listening to them. Remember, who writes for magazines? Not a lot of people that are 55, 60, 65 years old are writing for these publications or writing on these online financial journals. A lot of times they're 25, 30 years old. They don't have any money. You do. So don't listen to their advice. Okay? Timing of Social Security and timing of pensions needs to be based on your individual situation. Sometimes you want to wait on Social Security till you're 70 and trigger a pension early. Sometimes you want to trigger both early. Sometimes you want to trigger Social Security now and wait for that pension later because maybe you can pass that pension along. And so it's critical that when you come up with your retirement income strategy and you're coordinating it with your 401k and your savings, you also have a strategy for Social Security and pensions and the timing of those things. If you have a pension and you have Social Security and you have a 401k and you have savings, those are 4 different buckets, right? Taking those buckets in the right order, coming up with a strategy could mean the difference between you leaving a few $1,000,000 to your kids someday or grandkids or a charity and you running out of money before you pass away. So it's really important you come up with a strategy. And then the last thing I want to talk about is taxes. Taxes are going up. Let's face it, taxes are just going up. I'm planning on my taxes going up. I'm 60 years old. I'll probably live to 90, 95 if the statistics hold through and our healthcare system continues to advance. And in the course of my lifetime, it's possible my taxes could go up 50% or 100%. It's possible, if we end up going like some of the countries in Europe, that if I've saved a lot of money and I have a real high income, then I'm going to pay 60 or 70% of those top dollars, those last dollars I earn in income. So we've got to have a tax strategy. So again, this retirement income strategy, we're responsible. We didn't used to be, but now we're responsible for more of our retirement, much more than my grandfather. We've got to factor in inflation. You've got to give yourself a raise every single year when you're taking retirement income. Healthcare is going to cost more. It just is. We're living longer. Healthcare is costing more. It wasn't an issue a few years back when we would die earlier. Now it's a huge issue in retirement. Social Security pensions, what's the timing of those? Should we take a pension? Should we roll it over in a lump sum if they give us the opportunity to? All of these things need to be addressed. And of course, taxes. You want to minimize your taxes over the course of your lifetime. I want to talk a little bit about a plan that we walk through for folks and you need to be aware of. And this is a proprietary plan. It's custom to our particular company and it's called the Money Map. So it's a unique process that we do differently. And what we do is we create this map. It's a one-page map. It's a one-page plan with all of your finances on it. Every account you have, the debts that you have, the mortgage, the different homes that you own, whether you're getting disability income, your income needs, what you want in retirement, what you have in retirement, how much of your investments need to cover that income. And so it's a wonderful, here's the thing, okay? In the Northeast, we have a lot of engineers, and we have a lot of people that the engineers married that are not like the engineers, okay? And for years, the person that's not the engineer has been saying, honey, are we going to be okay in retirement? And what does the engineer show them? Shows them another Excel spreadsheet. Can't answer a question yes or no. The engineer gives them an Excel spreadsheet, and the question still remains. When we do this money map, it satisfies the needs of the technical person, mapping out your retirement on one simple page. It also satisfies the needs of the person that just wants to know if they're going to be okay. Obviously, behind that money map that we do for clients is a lot of data. It's a retirement income plan. It's a risk analysis of the portfolio. The people that really want to dig into all that, they can dig into all that. But most people just want to know they're going to be okay in retirement. They're not going to run out of money, and they can see that when we deliver to them the money map. So if you want that money map for yourself, we'd be glad to do it for you. But regardless of that, this video has gone through these retirement income strategies, or a particular retirement income strategy, and what you need to think through. Take this really seriously. Again, this is the difference between you running out of money in retirement and you having an amazing retirement and maybe being able to leave something for kids, grandkids, to charity, nieces, nephews. Come up with a retirement income strategy. We can help you do that with the money map. Regardless of all that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click on the little bell icon. You will get a notification every time I upload a new video to our channel.